In this tutorial, we're going to have a look at the Python programming language, and we're going to start off by looking at data types. The first data type we're going to look at is called a string, and this is simply used to hold alphanumeric text, i.e. numbers and letters, also including symbols. And it's important to remember that a space is considered a symbol, so it can contain text information, which can be any mixture of numbers, letters, symbols, including spaces. The key thing about a string is that it must have a quote marks before and after it. So if I type in name equals, so let's just try it without quote marks and see what happens. It's going to give us an error, and this is telling us that Joe was not defined. In this statement, what we're saying is we're creating a variable called name. So we're saying the variable name is equal to Joe. Sorry, the variable name is equal to the variable Joe, but this Python doesn't understand that because we have not given Joe any value yet, so that's why it's telling us that Joe is not defined. So whenever we are doing, just in terms of a variable, since we've mentioned it, a variable is a piece of data which it's like a container which can be used to hold data, and variables can change value throughout the execution of a computer program. So the value can change, it can vary. So define name equal to Joe as a string, we have to make sure we include quote marks, and it is best to use double quote marks, which we'll discuss in a second. And now if I ask Python for name, it's just going to spit back the value Joe. Now the reason why I have put in double quote marks, you can also use, so if I just call this one surname equals, again, quote marks, blogs, and this time I'm going to put it inside single quotes. It will work, and you can do it this way. Now if I ask for surname, it's going to spit out blogs, but this can become tricky whenever we use sentences which have punctuation, including this mark inside it. So we have to be able to use a mixture of these, and I find it easiest to use the double. So I'm now going to create a message. Again, it's going to be a string. It doesn't have to be one word, it can be a sentence. Message equals, so this is a variable called message, is equal to the string hello and welcome to Python. Message 2, I'm going to call this one, is equal to, and in this one I'm going to use the example. So if I had this as single quotes like we've done previously, you can see it causes a problem here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that as a double quote. We're learning how to use Python, and that's going to work fine for me in this case. So now I've created three variables. I've got four variables, one called name, which is a string, which is equal to Joe, one called surname, which is equal to blogs, which is again a string, message is equal to hello and welcome to Python, and message 2 is equal to we're learning how to use Python. Now what we can do when we've got these strings, the key thing we're going to probably want to do with strings is to print them out to display them back to the user on the screen. And we could just print a big string like this, hello and welcome to Python, etc, etc, and get it to print out that for us. Print is a function, so everything that we put inside everything we put inside the parentheses will be printed out, which can be strings and all sorts of other data types as well. So print that out. Now you can see I could just have that print out by manually typing it in, but it is useful for us to learn how to concatenate, how to add different variables into print statements. To do that, we do the same idea. We do print, open the parentheses. I'm going to start off by, I want message 1 to be displayed first, so I'm going to type in message. Then I'm going to type in plus name plus surname, hello message, message plus name plus surname plus message 2. I'm going to close my quotes and let's see what happens now. Hello and welcome to Python. Now you can see it's going a bit funny around here. So what we could do whenever we're actually defining the variables is we could leave spaces in, but in this example, if I just copy this, just to show that we can do this as well, print name. So after this, I want to insert another plus. I'm just going to put in a string, which is just one space, plus name. After that, I'm going to need another plus, which is that, surname. And after surname, I'm going to need another plus, which is that. And all this is going to do is going to space it out a bit better, make it look a bit neater on our screen. So that's a basic introduction to strings, and that's some of the key features you need to know about strings. One last thing that's also useful to know is how to take a new line. In Python, to take a new line, within the string, all we have to do, if I just copy this print statement again, we use the backslash. So if I want to take a new line after Joe blogs, so what I'm going to do in here is just say \n, and that has to be a string like this. Now if I press enter, invalid syntax, so it's saying that I've made a mistake somewhere in my code, so let's look at that again. Paste it in. What's that? Let's just put it in here. It's in the same one. And press enter. Oh, because I haven't put a plus in there, that's why. So we'll copy this, put it in here, and put a plus in there. What that should do is that should take a new line after the term surname. So you can see how that's worked. And the mistake that I was getting there is because I had left out the plus before this string. So the pluses are very important. If you have made a mistake whenever you're trying to print out a variable alongside a string, then that is probably what it might be, something like that. So that was a quick look at strings within Python and how we can use them within print statements.